how do we return back to that state? Now, first, we need to realize that the identity or the self that you believed yourself to be does not have existential reality. So your mind is not a fact. You may say, oh, my mind says this, my mind says that. Your mind is not a fact. Your mind is running on the past memory, circulating on the past memory, past mental memory, fueled by past emotional memory. Because the fuel for thought most of the time is emotion, yeah, like unworthiness or self-doubt is an emotion. But then it's represented by the mind that is say, oh, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, they will reject me and all of that. So it's fueled by the emotion. And that keeps that mechanism going. So the first step is to see the mechanism and realize that you are not your thought. You are the one observing everything. Yeah, that's where most of you are. You realize that pure consciousness or pure awareness, observing the stream of thoughts, observing emotions. So we come first to presence. We start being present. That's the starting point. Presence that is behind the thinking mind. Because thought is always running on some story, on some past memory. And the mind as such is illusory. It's just the collection of thoughts. But that is a fragmented energy. So when we start returning back into our wholeness, into our integrated state, we first deal with the mental fragmentation. We come out of that mental fragmentation that is continuously running as thinking. We come out of thinking and learn to function with pure intelligence. And what does it mean to function with pure intelligence? Pure intelligence. It means to step away from thinking, the need to think. It is approaching everything with a clear mind, with a silent, clear mind. And looking at everything without thinking. And that is the essential step that will take you deeper. Because without this step, the presence, we can't go deeper into ourselves and deeper into integration of our true nature. So the mind is illusory. So everything you think is not true. Everything. Now, you have an opinion, or believe is not true. You are stuck in a certain attitude or certain position. It's not true. So you see, thinking mechanism, until this, if the thinking mechanism keeps on running, it will always create a veil between you and life. That's why its presence becomes an important aspect. Realizing that silence that is behind the thinking. You see, silence is not created by the absence of thought. I know that many of you practice meditation, and it's very useful to practice meditation, but inevitably you must come to realization that there is silence underneath thinking. That thinking just appears in the silent space of pure consciousness. And that silence is not the absence of noise. It is silence that has always been there. So it's not a created silence. Yeah, like now, by this time, your mind is probably getting silent, and you can really listen deeply to what is being shared here. And it's only when the mind is not interfering that you start perceiving life deeply, more intimately. Because if there is a veil of perception, you're just in a dream state, in illusion, not hearing clearly, not seeing clearly, not understanding clearly. You see things which are not there and don't see things which are there. That's the nature of the mind. So presence, when we talk about the feminine and masculine aspects, and I'm not talking about genders here, I'm talking about fundamental energy. Presence is the masculine. It's the ground, the stable ground, the unwavering attention, the courage, unshakable stability. All masculine traits. I'm talking about the pure masculine aspects. And whether you're a male or a female, both aspects are in you. So that is the foundation, the ground for you returning back to your original wholeness. So when that presence is there, you can open to life. And if you've been working with me, you know that's what we are doing. We are opening. And that's what Tantra is about, to be open to life, to all of life. But without presence, you can't be open to all of life. Because opening to all of life means opening to all energies that are within you. Opening to all experiences. Opening to see what is deep, 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 deep down there in your psyche. So openness, that's a feminine aspect. Openness is nourishment. its softness, its receptivity, all feminine traits. Yeah. So we come to cultivate in ourselves the deeper integration of masculine and feminine aspects within ourselves as presence and love. So first, we come here, realization of the pure consciousness, of pure awareness. And then we deepen, we descend down from the mind down to the heart. Because fragmentation created all defense mechanisms in your heart. All defense mechanisms, how you protect yourself from pain, protect yourself from being hurt, especially when it comes to opening yourself in love. Everyone wants love. Everyone is looking for love. But everyone is afraid because they're afraid to open. Yeah, because deep down, there is still that rejected child that is crying for love, but is afraid to open up. Because love fundamentally will have to open what it is in your heart so that you see it in all openness. That's why true embodiment or true embodied awakening or true spirituality is a very challenging process. It's not just, oh, I'm God. I'm realized I'm God. So people get stuck in here. They get this idea, I'm God, I'm pure consciousness, but they still suppress a lot of things down there, a lot of suppressions in your heart, a lot of defense mechanisms, a lot of pain, emotional pain related to love specifically. So that is not an integrated state. It's not what we are talking about here. Realization must be brought down from the mind to the heart and down to your body. Remember, we were talking about returning to the original state where you are just a body, just life in the body, moving around, doing your things. But the most challenging part is coming down here and opening to life and love. And life externally, as it is presented to you, always is designed in such a way to present you with an opportunities to open. And if you don't realize that, you may go into, why is this happening to me? Why is life punishing me? Why God is punishing me? Why I have pain? Well, the pain is for you to see all the defense mechanisms, all the suppressions all the traumas stored there. See, life will bring out whatever needs to be brought out for you to see, to realize, and accept all that fragmented aspects of your inner child need to be seen with presence, with pure consciousness, and accepted and nourished with love. So you don't need to run away from your pain. You need to meet your pain with openness, with acceptance. And so that's a return to wholeness, to integrate mental and emotional, psychological process, the energy that is trapped as thoughts, and an energy that is trapped as emotional suppressions and fragmentations, to merge that energy back in your natural state, in the totality of love, in the totality of being that you are. That's the path of integration, the path of returning back to your wholeness. So that's when we have the equilibrium. Yeah, the perfect state is equilibrium of the mind, meaning silent mind, pure presence, silent mind, unwavering, unshakable, and healed heart. The heart that is open, undefended, naked. And the body all come into one perfect line. Yeah, the masculine part, the presence, the feminine part, open heart or love, they come together in you. And relationship is a very important practice for that, because it's your mirror to see the suppressions, the emotional fragmentations, the deeper childhood traumas, pains, the imprints of your mother and father that unconsciously you repeat in your relationship. That's all comes up to see, to be transformed. In other words, integration process is emptying the fragmented content of your personal consciousness. That you become just a pure space, just a pure body. Because when fragmented parts are integrated, you return more and more to your wholeness, to the state of love, to being that you are. And that's how you come into love affair with life, because there is no separation between you and the other anymore. The other meaning your partner, the other meaning life itself. Because what separates you from you and your partner, or you and life, is the fragmentation, mental and emotional fragmentation. So returning back to wholeness is an integrating fragmentation. Makes you deeply attuned to life. So you are receptive. You are very present and conscious, and you are open to life. So there is no more you against life that is doing something to you or not doing something to you. You see that all events that took place in your life, that they had to happen because it was the intelligence of life that designed them in that way, for you to see yourself, to know yourself, to come more and more in contact with your original nature. So integration and returning to wholeness is coming to that state of totality where presence is the totality of you. Love is the totality of you. Surrender is the totality of you. And all comes back to now. The integrated state comes back to now. The space within you that is beyond time and beyond past memory. In other words, you are no longer run your life on past memory that caused mental and emotional fragmentation inside you. So the memory can be there as a practical tool, but you are free from that inside. So in other words, we can say that your emptiness is love, or your emptiedness is love. And in that emptiness, there is no border anymore with life. There's no border anymore within, without. There is no division anymore between masculine and feminine. They all become one. So inside of you, what happens? A tremendous integration of your inner male and an inner female. So if you're a female and you emptied yourself, you integrated all the fragmentation, you are united with your male, with your inner male. If you're male, you emptied all that content, personal content of consciousness, and your inner fragmentation, you are united with your inner female. So the male and female that you see in your partner, they are not separated from you. They are your own male or female, presented to you so that you can, by reflection, clear within yourself the fragmentation on the levels, on the mind, and specifically on the level of the heart, so that you can unite with your own male or female. Yeah? So we come to the total oneness in experience. It's not oneness that spiritual people are talking about, oneness as a concept. No, it's oneness as a lived experience of integrated state within mind, heart, body, masculine and feminine, and without no border between you and life. Essentially, you come to the state where you are just a body, just a pure natural body, innocent as a child. That's why Jesus said, only those who are as children can enter the kingdom of heaven. So that's your path back to the kingdom of heaven. You become just as a body.